Welcome to Change Pace Poetry number 21. My name is Leland Jamieson. We're going to look at rhyme royal verse a little further. I'll read you three poems, one consisting of a number of stanzas that turns it into a narrative poem. The two others are single stanzas each. One is kind of a protest poem. The other is a more reflective piece utilizing in its title the constituting metaphor, as well as metaphors within the poem itself. So without further ad-lib, let me begin. The setting of the first poem is in the mountains of North Carolina in the middle of winter. I was sleeping on the back porch of a 8-man dormitory, a little cottage, in a working prep school, Christ School, in the mountains of North Carolina. So here it is, Boiler Man. He shut his eyes, a happy lad. Slow warmth suffused his back porch bed. Boilermen's lives were not so bad. He'd won 5th form, the thoroughbred of boilers, 'cause he'd kept his head on lesser jobs, pulled clinkers small, flushed water feeds, punched tubes and all. He woke, could not evoke the dream that stirred him with such urgency. Was 2 a.m., said watch hands' gleam. He stretched, was snug as could be, but couldn't shake himself quite free of a pressing sense that he must rise. Some dopey dream. He closed his eyes. How cold was it! He clawed his nails against the poncho's underside and scraped off ice like soft fish scales. He tossed, such restlessness. He sighed. He grabbed a flashlight for a guide, slid loafers on, strode through the door, and stepped upon a creaking floor. The strongest sense of turpentine pervaded bath and cottage hall. So hot, a chill went up his spine. He squatted, palmed the floor and wall. Hot floor? His dream? A psychic call? He strode outside and hung a left. The cellar door was stuck, more heft. He kicked it open. A dim red glow. White vapor, turpentine, flowed out across his flashlight's feeble throw. He fought against an instant doubt. A light switch spark? Another route? What if the time it took to wake 8 sleepers up is too much to take? He flipped the switch. 2 bulbs went on. There, in their dim light, he just could see the whole surreal phenomenon. His last year's job. The big square D cut off on the coal bin's post should be there still, behind that old May West. With fresh night air he filled his chest. Halfway across the packed clay floor he tripped and sprawled and spilled his air. He gasped for breath, spit clay, and swore. Back on his feet he gripped the square D cutoff, yanked it with a prayer. Thank God we didn't blow sky high. He dropped to the clay's fresh air supply. On hands and knees, with worm's eye view, he thanked the stoker's dying whine. He gazed while the firebox door changed hue from bright orange reds near molten shine to graying blues most welcome sign. 3 giant pine knots in a beam dripped pitch on it, sizzling to steam. Now, the next poem is a very short one, the little protest poem. It's called Do No Harm, and it was generated by all of these nauseous pharmaceutical advertisements that carry on in between the news commentary and incite you to try some medication if your doctor will permit it. Note the takeaway technique in the sales. And so that's what spawned this. It's called Do No Harm. If doctors and their drug firms' chemists took the meds their ads urge you and me to take, with sotto voce warnings that we look for morbid side effects, our heads may ache, sclerotic livers fail, heart rhythms quake, and bowels run on while stomachs chuck food up, they would, no doubt, beg for the hemlock cup. And this third poem is also very short, single 7-line stanza of rhyme royal, is on a little happier note. This title is a constituting metaphor. It's called A Common Wealth, and it arose as I was gazing into the fire of our little wood stove. Here we go. Impassioned in their cast iron girdle, blue flames leap up from orange-white coals supplied by logs in our small yurtle. The hydrocarbons of split bowls illumine our creation's poles. E equals MC squared fires stars, and each heart's cherished repertoires. Now I have a little time, and because that's a rather compact poem, let me read it again. I should have pointed out initially a couple of words that might not be familiar to everyone. B-O-L-E-S, bowls, is one of the names for trunk. It means a tree trunk. Yurtle is spelled J-O with a slash through the O, T-U-L. It's a Norwegian or Danish wood stove with an intriguing air supply that burns very, very clean. That's probably what I would have said initially, and all you really need to understand the poem. So indulge me, please, in a rereading, and maybe this will make more vivid sense to you. A Common Wealth. Impassioned in their cast iron girdle, blue flames leap up from orange-white coals supplied by logs in our small yurtle. The hydrocarbons of split bowls illumine our creation's poles. E equals MC squared fires stars, and each heart's cherished repertoires. Thank you for indulging me in that. Before you leave, I want to point out, if I may, this website, jamiesonspoetry.com, and on it, if I can get this thing to focus, you'll find writing short rhyming poems with metaphors, a new tutorial, which is this. It's a 13-page document that you'll learn more about if you go on that site. And in addition to the new tutorial is an archive of change-paced poetry videos with printed texts of all the poems read in this series. Now, the value of the printed text is that I would not have to explain to you words like bowls, because they're hard to catch on the fly, and because everyone's pronunciation is slightly different. So it's helpful to have the texts in front of you, especially when facing an old man's broken mouth like mine. So that's all I have to say today. Please join me on my website. Take a look at it. Might be something there that you would enjoy getting involved with. Thank you very much. Have a great day.